said, if you have the resources, you can take it up. But however, we are doing our best. And some of us, we don't, canvass this before the media, but we are actually doing it. For example, in my own state, I'm from Edo State, we've taken issues up with the governor, because the judiciary has been on strike for over 6 months, and that is very wrong. So we are bold enough, we have the channel to reach the governor, so if we don't come out publicly and say, look, comrade, what you are doing is wrong. Negotiate and settle this issue. So it is only where you cannot reach the governor or you try to reach the governor, it's not possible to go public. I agree with you. We lawyers ought to take up issues like this. But mind you, the law is made for man, not the other way around. So if we take issues, for example, in Osun State, that you know that the government, we are aware that they don't have money, assuming you take up issues on behalf of the labor, the workers, the civil servant, and you get judgment, how do you execute the judgment?
Implement it.
You understand me? So implementing the judgment might be difficult. It's like implementing the judgment against a poor man to pay you 1 billion naira. Might not be able to pay you, you know. So I think the best is the same. Look, while you are looking at implementing laws, you should look at policies that affect the occurrence that will lead to you implementing law in respect of that incident. For example, the government, the federal government, I am impressed with what Buhari is currently doing, taking his time. By the time it comes out, he will not have any excuse to fail us. Because if, for example, he appoints a very wrong person, he appoints somebody that we all know, or majority of Nigerians know to be a corrupt person, we can criticize him. You know, if he implements what he has in mind for Nigeria, most of these problems will take care of themselves.
Okay, we need to round up.
Bring in Mr. Okechukwu. He's just said that it's okay with the president taking his time so that he doesn't have any excuse to, deliver to Nigerians. But Biodun Ogundipe on Twitter is saying that his problem is that Nigerians are losing faith in okay, the president may have all of the, good ideas, but for him, the president is too slow.
My own take is that the young people should look at where the state is coming from. Nobody should be deceived that Federal Ministry of Works, the Federal Capital Territory, the Federal Ministry of General Affairs, that they are not paying contractors because there are no ministers. They are not paying contractors because there's no money in the treasury. This is the issue. President Muhammad Buhari could have raved at a very high speed if he had met $17 billion in the excess crude account, as the previous government did, had met over $40 billion in the foreign reserve. This was not the case today. Therefore, the slowdown of the economy is because the treasury is virtually empty. And there is a singer in Lagos, Shina Peters. In one of those his lyrics, he said, without money, nothing can be done. So it's not about appointing ministers that is slowing down the Nigerian economy. It is because our economy was looted. And we are calling on everybody that has information where this money could be recouped, that the current administration will not expose anybody who had a valid evidence on where we can trace our money to. And if we are able to collect this money, we can start raving. If President Muhammad Buhari appoints all the ministers, all the service chiefs, everything we need, ambassadors, boards, and everything, and there's no money in the coffers, I doubt.
Okay, Mr. Okechukwu, we have to go. So let's just, can we just
funds being paid to these officials? So the issue is that the economic conditions is culpable, not Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Okechukwu, as we wind down, those who are bothered about the level of corruption and all the efforts being made to end it or curb it as much as possible. But the question will be, what is the hope of the honest worker, the honest public servant or civil servant who is satisfied with just his or her earnings and wants to grow in his or her career? What's the hope?
very, very huge hopes. The pension funds will not be tampered with. In fact, there's a process to recover the looted pension funds. It's not only the NMPC account that's being looked to. The customs account is being looked to. The federal revenue account is being looked into. And what Mr. President had said, one single federation account. I think a lot of Nigerians did not get that message. Instead of a lot of people setting up agencies, ministries, setting up accounts, managing it to the private banks at their whims and caprices, it's going to stop. So anybody that have valid information of any type, let the person be reassured that as a whistleblower, he will not be exposed. This is the difference. The president is a change agent. He's going to guide any information given to him that is valid. Unlike in the past, where if you bring information, you are the next person in jail. That will not be the case.
All right, thank you.
As I said earlier, he's going to implement the Administrative Justice System Act as enacted. So let's have the hope that we need Nigerian people to support him. He's not going to be everywhere. If you see where the leakages is occurring, please let us know. If you don't let him know or let anybody who can reach him to know, there's no way he might know.
Thank you, Mr. Okechukwu.
Feel safe that you are now in a good hand.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Okechukwu. Mr. Zako.
Yes, on a final note, I want to agree with Mr. Okechukwu on this issue of not making bogus appointments. But I want to continue to ask that some sensitive, very tangible, crucial ones be made. The whole cabinet must not be all at once constituted, but at least those tangible ones be made so that it will help the president in his anti-corruption war, especially with respect to recovery of looted funds. And if I may be asked to name one, I would say the Office of Attorney General of the Federation.
Okay.
While I agree with him, I just want to add that this fight against corruption, we have not talked about the central bank. In all the countries all over the world, the central banks play a very key role. The central bank should be able to monitor the banks, and they should be able to tell us with some level of specific certainty the movement of funds, particularly looted funds. What is the central bank doing about this? I think the president should tax the central bank. Central bank is a perpetual institution. It has been there for long. It was there during Abacha, Buhari, Babangida, and then Yaradua, and Goodluck Jonathan. They should tell us how money were moved and the wrong money. They should be able to tell us this. That's my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. We've been speaking with three gentlemen from our Abuja studios. We have the APC chieftain, Mr. Osita Okechukwu. We also have Mr. Fred Nzako, who is a legal practitioner, and Mr. Dania Abdullahi, also a legal practitioner. Thank you all for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, we just take a break.
And we'll come back to continue another aspect that has to do with Nigeria as well.